right, welcome to the Heart Rate Variability Ultrasound program. This is a mini course that's dedicated to helping you basically hear your vagal tone so that you have the most powerful technology on the planet for the price that you're paying that can help you access and hear your vagal tone directly so that you can actually start improving your vagal tone more than most people could in their lifetime. That's my hope, my promise for you, my guarantee that this is going to be a very powerful mini program. I have no intention of disappointing you or leaving you feeling like, wow, that was not worth it at all. Even though you're paying probably a very, very small amount. Basically, the price of this device is getting you this whole course. So yeah, so I still want it to be incredibly valuable. I want you to get your value. All right, so this is the ultrasound heart rate variability mini program. So here's what we're going to cover. The first thing we're going to cover is in succession is how to use the ultrasound heart rate monitor, which is included in that main video that you've probably seen of me demonstrating it. And we're going to go around where to place it, all that kind of stuff. We're going to go over listening for your heart rate, how to hear your own heart rate variability, how to breathe properly, when to monitor your heart rate variability, and more information about HRV. We're going to go a little bit deeper just in this one video. So first thing what I want to cover is how to use the ultrasound heart rate monitor. Okay, so how to use the ultrasound heart rate monitor is the first thing to know is that it is a battery powered device. You don't need to plug it in. It doesn't recharge. It just takes two AA batteries. Those are the bigger batteries. AAA is smaller. AA is a little bit bigger than that. So it includes the gel, okay? And I'm saying here is to please remove the gel. Take the gel off. Don't leave it in a drawer for more than one month, okay? So what this means is that the gel must be closed, okay? And make sure you don't like leave it open because it will kind of air out and dry out. So make sure you're taking care of things. And then if you do decide to, put this away somewhere, please try to remove the batteries from it. Just keep the batteries out of it if you are like leaving it somewhere, if you pack it up somewhere, okay? My goal for you is that for the next 90 days, this will be something that's used pretty consistently. At least for the first 30 days, I want you to use it every day so that you can get a good, really deep understanding of how your heart rate variability works and changes day to day, and you'll get to start to see things. So anyway, please just try to use this device. And then in terms of the location of the probe, the best is at the bottom of the throat, pointing down to your heart. The other area, if that doesn't work very well for you, is below the rib cage, pointing up. That's another alternate potential. You want to try to avoid pointing it at bone because bone is like trying to scream into a wall, and the sound is just going to bounce right back off. So anyway, in this picture, you can see a screenshot of the main video that I did, which is showing you really where that is. It's in that soft spot right here. So it's very easy to find. It doesn't require a lot of movement. And if you look on the very right-hand side on the white device with the little volume knob there, this version that I'm showing here has the volume knob there, but there are multiple versions going around just to future-proof this video in case things change and the volume is a little different. But you can turn the volume up so you can make sure you hear it. Okay, and so basically, when it comes to listening to your heart rate, this specific device is going to be playing you your heart rate. Okay, it's gonna really play anything that it hears. It's a very advanced amplification system. This is very this technology. If you try to buy it, let's say we went back to the 70s, would have cost you about $80,000. Okay, so just through the sheer beauty of manufacturing and technology reduction and advancement in software, This device can be had for less than $50, which is incredible. But again, in the past, it used to cost a lot, and you would only get it in like advanced medical facilities. That's what ultrasound is. If you want to get a device that can do imaging, those can cost about $300,000 if you want a big cart system. So anyway, this is very advanced technology. Don't let it fool you, but this is advanced stuff. Now what it's doing is it's listening to your heart rate, and it's pinging your heart rate 3 million times per second. We'll go into that a little bit later, but it's pinging your heart 3 million times per second, so it can actually detect slight changes in the heart pumps, so it can hear more from your heart than almost anything else. Well, pretty much anything else, unless you put your ear in your heart and you could hear it yourself. I don't even think that would be that good. So anyway, it's very advanced. Now, how it works is it's taking the reflected sound from your heart, because your heart is changing in shape, and it's converting these high frequency ultrasound sound waves. They're very tiny waves. They wiggle very fast, and it's going back into the probe and being amplified using software. So it's a hardware software amplifier, and so it allows you to really listen very, very carefully. Even if you were to just take your fingertips and just put them right there in that area, you can kind of feel the pumping of your blood a little bit. Some people can, some people can't. But you can't hear hardly anything going on in the heart. This is going to give you like X-ray vision equivalent when it comes to hearing, this device, okay? So how is this different from other things? You're like, well, why are you giving me this? Why don't I just get one of those Fitbits that monitors my heart rate? Well, the thing with those is that those only have a refresh rate. It's like it only samples your heart rate about every, I don't know, 60 times per second. Okay, so 60 times per second allows you to hear some part of your heart rate, and all the Fitbit is understanding, is only hearing, is that your heart is pumping, and when it pumps at its peak and when it's not. It can't hear hardly anything going on when it comes to your actual pumping, the intensity of your heart rate. It's down at your arm. I mean, those devices are so bad when it comes to, in comparison to this, okay? And so there's that. And then basically, there's other devices that use electricity, electrocardiogram, which go down to your heart, but those experience some of the same issues where they're only refreshing at about 60 times per second, maybe 100 times per second, but the difference between those is the same thing. It's called resolution. If I'm only looking, let's say I'm driving a car, okay? Everybody's driven a car before. And let's say I can like blink really fast, okay? And let's say that I open my eyes and then close my eyes for 1 second each. My eyes are open and my eyes are closed. Open, closed. Now, would you feel comfortable being on the freeway and closing your eyes that often for that many seconds? If you're just going open, closed, open, closed. That's what would be called a refresh rate, where you take new information in. The difference between these electrical or light-based sensors is that they're taking snapshots of the heart every a few times a second, okay? 60 times per second, let's say. Now that's like driving on the freeway. You could miss a lot of details. You're going to get a general picture, like, yeah, you're moving down the freeway and you're in the lane. That's what it's going to tell you. But with ultrasound, with the specific device you have, it refreshes 3 million times per second. That's orders of magnitude more resolution than anything that you can get. There's nothing that refreshes that fast. So this is really, really huge. Now, the thing to know about that is that that's like basically having your eyes wide open all the time while driving down the freeway. Which would you prefer? I personally would prefer 3 million times per second. If you're into, if you think 60 times per second versus 3 million, 3,0,0,0,0,0,0 versus 6,0, then, hey, that is what it is. But so that's why it's different. That's why it's better. That's why nothing else compares to this. So, and again, through the beauty of manufacturing, it can be so cheap. So, we're going to go over vagal tone and analyzing heart rate variability. And I want to just turn your attention to this picture we have here, where it says high vagal tone. If you look carefully, you can see that the red line that goes up and down with peaks at the top and valleys at the bottom, where it becomes a peak, you can see that the lines become sharper, and then when the red goes to a valley, a low point, those lines are not as distinct. So what's happening is when my vagal tone, my vagus nerve, is activating, you'll see the heart rate becomes very, very intense. It basically pumps really hard. This is good. So, and it shows up very clearly in this machine, which you're not going to see anywhere else. I promise you that, okay? So, we're going to keep on going. So, heart rate variability. What is it? Well, simply put, it's variation in your heartbeat. If I'm going to go back up to this picture, and if we look, you may or may not be able to see it, but if you look at the difference between the distance between one line and the other here on the left side of the screen, where the red line is high, there's a certain distance between each line, and the distance between those lines is more. There's more. The slower the heart rate, the longer the space between the each beat on this picture. And then if you compare it to the middle of the trough, the low point, the valley of this red line, even though the lines aren't so clear, they are bunched closer together. And you can see that if you go to the very middle of the picture, where you have the big lines, they have a lot of space between them, and then you compare it just to the left with the peak, you can see that there's a difference between the spacing. So the variation between the rate of my heartbeat between low vagal tone and high vagal tone is that the higher the vagal tone, the more vagus nerve activation happens, the more space there is between my heart beats. This is what heart rate variability is, and it's probably as simple a term as I can give it. So why is it useful? Well, variation happens when your vagus nerve sends stop signals to your heart. Okay, so your vagus nerve sends signals to your heart when you're breathing out, when you're relaxing, to slow down your heart rate. So if your vagus nerve is working properly, then your heart rate should increase and slow down. So that's why it's useful to have. There's definitely health reasons as well. If your heart is always pumping at full blast, then it's going to wear itself out a lot faster, and you can develop really severe heart issues. And if your heart rate is constant too much, it can actually cause really big issues in your extremities. So in your fingertips, your toes. Diabetics have very low heart rate variability. So diabetics have hypertension in their veins throughout their body, and it's very unhealthy. So you actually need to have like a lot of variation, fast heart rate, slow heart rate. You got to change it up. You need variability. Okay. So when I say vagus nerve and then the word stop, what does that mean? This is known as the vagal brake. Just like you would put the brake on your car, if your car is going down a hill and you pump the brake, your car is going to slow down, but it's still going to keep on moving. It's not that your heart is going to stop. Okay, don't freak out there. It's not stopping it, but it's sending a stop signal to stop the next beat from happening so quickly. So it's going to actually slow your heart rate down. It's going to actually increase the time between beats. Okay, why does it exist? It's simply an evolutionary thing. There's plenty of reasons why, but essentially, you do want a body that is partially automatically controlled, where your heart rate will spike at the sign of some bad person or some threat, but then you also want to be able to slow your heart rate down when you breathe out. Like that. That's a really good thing to help you calm down. And also, a big thing that I love to learn about is leadership and influence. And I'm not going to get into it too much, but when it comes to influencing people around you, it's literally all in the name, leadership. If you want other people to follow you, you have to do first. Be the person who does it first. If you're in an environment where people are freaking out, then how are you going to be a leader if you can't slow your own heart rate down? If everybody else is freaking out and you can slow your heart rate down in a panic situation, relatively panicked, not too much, not like a full-on riot, but if you can slow your heart rate down, you actually influence people around you. This is also why knowing your heart rate variability and being able to actively control it, which is what you're going to learn in this program, is so important to influencing people all around you. Okay, so how to hear it. Now, when your heart rate noticeably slows down, you should actually hear an increase in the intensity and the loudness of these slower heartbeats. That's why they show up so well on that picture I showed you, because that's a spectrogram, which I'll go back up to it. This is literally taking sound and converting it into an image. So the louder the sound, the more it shows up, and the quieter, the more distant and ghost-like it is. So that's literally more vagal activity makes your heart sound loud. If your vagus nerve is not working very well, then your heart rate is going to be very quiet. Now, obviously, caveat is this does not mean like if you just ran a marathon and your heart is racing, that you should throw this thing on and be like, look, whoa, what is my heart rate doing now? It sounds really loud. This is for sitting down inside in a calm place, not before or after a marathon race, okay? This is different, okay? Separate activities. This is not about peak performance for athletes. This is about the average person sitting at home understanding how their body is working, okay? So hearing your vagal tone, very slow and heavy beats, is a direct auditory signature of high vagal tone in that moment. When you breathe in, though, when you take a breath in, then your vagal nerve, your vagus nerve, is going to deactivate some of its nerves, and it's going to release the brake on your heart, and your heart is going to speed up. Okay? So now we're going to play a video on how this looks in real time.
I'm going to breathe in and then out repeatedly, and you're going to hear that my heart rate variability is good because my heart rate will speed up and slow down. When I breathe in, it's fast, and when I exhale, it slows down. So listen.
And we're just zooming in here so we can see it very clearly. On the right-hand side, you'll see exactly when my heart beats. You can see the line created. So it keeps exact tempo. And you'll see now I am about to breathe out here. Breathing out. More vagal activity. Okay, less vagal activity here. Now I'm breathing out and there's more. Here it gets really loud. And then my heart just starts to speed up and gets more quiet. And now it gets heavier. That's my vagus nerve. And then my vagus nerve releases. And as I blow out, my vagus nerve kicks in and you see the lines appear very clearly. And everything gets loud. Very simple.
So,
awesome. So that's how it works. So now what? Now what do you do with this information? How is this helpful? Did you just waste the last couple minutes learning something about something that's not going to do you any good in life? Well, no. You didn't waste your time. You probably learned one of the most valuable skills that people can learn on this planet. It's my belief that the vagus nerve is something that ancient cultures knew about, and they recognized how incredibly important it is to regulating your emotions, your mind, and designing a life that is worthwhile to live. Okay? So how do we use this? How do we put this all together? How do we make this useful information? Well, your vagal tone is your health. There is nothing else in your body that's a better indicator of somebody's life and their overall health than their vagus nerve tone. Okay? Fact. If you can measure and improve your vagus nerve tone, the signals going through it using this specific course that I've created, you are going to improve your health remarkably and stay healthy a lot longer than your neighbor down the street who is munching on Cheetos and watching Netflix. This is the most valuable amount of time that you'll ever spend on anything. It's better than pills. It's better than getting tested. It's better than talking to your doctor. It's better than anything. It really is, okay? So it's worth it. So the better vagal tone also equals more resilience. This means less illness, less chances of getting sick, less brain fog, less overall stress, and more ability to take on the challenges of the day with ease and with a serene sense of grace. Okay, everybody deserves to hit the problems in stride. Run into your problems in stride with grace, with a smile on your face. This is what you will get from this. And it's easy to use every day. I encourage you to use this every day. Using this once and then putting it in the closet is a big fail. Not worth it. If that happens too much, then clearly this was too cheap of a course and I'll never do this again. If everybody just goes, well, it's not that worth it. All right. So it clearly is a sign that it's not very valuable. But I think it's going to be very valuable for you. Now, we want you to measure every day. So the goal is to improve the loud thumping noises when you breathe out and have the kind of change that you heard in my video. You should have something very similar to that. I'm a very healthy young man, yeah, you should easily be able to replicate that within 15 to 30 days. And I want you to record a before and after video. So what you're going to do is get your phone out, just like I did, and record yourself using the ultrasound heart rate variability monitoring system for 3 to 5 minutes. Just record it for 3 minutes, and we want to hear your whole beginning, middle, and after kind of recording. And if you can, it's not a bad thing to just say, like, why are you using it? And just to kind of give yourself the gift of having recorded information to use at a later date. Okay? So make a recording of yourself on the very first session with your camera, selfie style, okay? I'm sure you've done it. You know how to use a camera. You should do it. And hold it exactly like I did. Just breathe in and out at the same slow rate that I did. If you notice that that you're getting out of sync with things, just know that your heart rate should be the loudest when you're breathing out, and it should be quiet when you're breathing in. So you can it's a two-way street. So you can control your heart rate, but your heart rate can also be an indicator of where you need to be. So you want to try and match them. You can actively breathe in and breathe out, but you can also use your heart rate sounds as an indicator to adjust, sort of like a feedback loop. You're feeding yourself information in real time. You should be able to make an adjustment. If you feel like your car is going too fast and you're not in the lane, then make an adjustment. You should be breathing out and hearing it go louder, louder, louder. And then when that starts to get quiet, then you should be breathing in again. And then as soon as you hear your heart rate slowing down, then start breathing out so that it gets really loud at the very bottom of your breath. It's very simple. Now mark your calendar on your phone or on a calendar that you have for 15 and 30-day increments from today. Take a follow-up selfie at day 15, and then take another follow-up selfie at day 30. Same thing, 3 minutes recorded, hearing how you do, so we can compare them from before, middle, and after. Wouldn't that be cool if in 30 days you had a direct comparison and we could actually throw it into the spectrogram app and see a real clear difference? Wouldn't that be amazing? So when you're recording these videos, make sure that it's quiet and that you really have the thing up loud and that you have it close to the camera, just like I have it in my videos, okay? All right, so here's your action items for this first week. First, you're going to record a video of you using the device for the first 5 minutes. You will want this for reference later. It could be a 3-minute video, but you want to get a video. Use this device every day while breathing. Just do normal inhalations and exhalations. You don't need to do anything other special. If you're already doing, let's say, the vagus nerve stimulation and repair program, and you're using direct vagus nerve stimulation with the ultrasound and getting great results, don't stop doing that to do this. You can do both. You could even do them at the same time if you want. They're not going to interrupt. They're not going to interact with each other. One just measures and one actually stimulates. So the ultrasound you have is not a stimulation. The ultrasound in this program, this mini HRV program, is not able to stimulate your vagus nerve, unfortunately. We'll get there someday, but not for another couple years. So anyway, all right, so use this every day while breathing. Just do normal inhalations and exhalations for 5 minutes. Make a post in the group of your first time with the device. So what you can do, and I would really encourage you to do, which you'll get extra bony brownie points from me, Sterling, is you're going to get, is if you can take the video of you breathing with the ultrasound on for 3 minutes, then you're going to get extra kudos from me, okay? It'll be good because it will show other people that they can do it, how you're doing it, how much you've learned, how excited you are, whatever. And it can help other people feel the confidence that they need to make the jump too. Because a lot of people are like monkey see, monkey do, and they have to see somebody else using it, not just me, to make sure that it's a real thing and that, it exists and that it works. So, yeah, first person to post it in the group of you using it for 3 minutes, exactly how I showed it, would be like a rock star in my book. So, anyway, so yeah, you are on the path to becoming best friends with your own vagus nerve. And this is just the beginning. We have a few more videos after this. And if you thought this was good, you're going to love the next video. It's going to be about specific resonance breathing techniques, which are very, very powerful. Very powerful. Okay, that's it for us. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys and gals and dolls and whatever. I don't even know. I'm too young for that kind of stuff. But thank you guys and everybody. I'll talk to you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.